Howdy y'all, today's video is about Jimmy and Purdy comparing their anacondas to see whose is bigger. Is it better to have one that's more girthy or one better lengthwise?
It's Purdy Brock Jenkins. 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 It's Purdy Brock Jenkins.
And that's why I think Brazil could be our next great adventure, Purdy. The weather, the cuisine, and maybe even the ladies. Oh, the beaches too. Copacabana, Ipanema. The sunsets must be breathtaking. And the food. Imagine the flavors, the spices. We could try the black beans and barbecue. Not to forget the samba, dancing in the streets, the music, the rhythm of life there. It's a different culture, so full of life, and knowing us, we'll probably accidentally end up joining a carnival parade. But have you heard about the wildlife? The jungles are home to some of the most extraordinary creatures. Like what? Parrots? Jaguars? Yes, those too. But I was thinking of something bigger, larger, lengthier. The anacondas. Anacondas? You mean them huge snakes? Exactly. They're so massive they can swallow cows whole. Whole cows? That's hard to believe. Why would a snake want something so big inside it? I wonder if it's because cows have milk. Or maybe they think cows taste like hamburgers. Do snakes even like hamburgers? And what about condiments? Do you think they use ketchup or mustard? Imagine a snake with a bottle of ketchup or relish. My dad used to like relish, but really, do they use utensils? Or napkins? And after swallowing such a huge meal, do they have to wipe their mouths? I bet snake parents are just like ours, always nagging about table manners. Don't swallow your food whole. Chew it up into little bites. Chew with your mouth closed. But what if we went there, to Brazil, to see these anacondas? I don't know. It's scary. The thought of getting eaten. Yes, it's frightening, but curious too. What a world where such creatures exist. A world of giant snakes, cows, mysterious jungles. Maybe we're better off watching the world from right here. Hey, we could catch the Bills-Dolphins game right here on the couch. You know, it would be amazing to actually go there, to be part of the crowd, feel the energy. In Buffalo, in this weather, we'd literally freeze our balls off. Are we talking footballs or other balls? In that cold, it's hard to tell the difference. I can just picture it now, sitting in the stands, trying to keep warm. And speaking of cold, what about those anacondas we were talking about? Do snakes even feel cold? I wonder if they would be interested in a game of football. Can you imagine a snake trying to play with a football? Or perhaps they're more into the idea of a warm meal, like those cows. Or footballs for that matter. Speaking of cold, do you think snakes like the cold? I don't think anyone likes the cold. Maybe big snakes can handle the cold better. Big things have more girth and are better insulated. That's true. Whenever I'm a bit more girthier, I can always stand a few more minus degrees less. You have a pet snake, right? Is it big or little? Oh, mine's rather small, easy to handle. How about yours? Mine's a medium size, manageable, but still interesting. Does your wife handle your snake often? She does, but she prefers them smaller. Says it's less of a hassle that way. Well, smaller is easier to maneuver in a tight space. My wife's the opposite. She's intrigued by the larger ones. More to see, more to engage with. It really makes you think, doesn't it? About how different we all are. Preferences, fears. Fears, yes. Like those anacondas. Imagine the fear of those cows. Afraid of cows? For me, it's just the bull you got to watch out for. The bull crap, certainly. And also the jealous bull boyfriend. I mean, you just get in the pasture and the bull wants to stick his horns in you. That's not something I'd ever give consent for. Me either. Do you think fear is the same for everyone? Or do cows fear differently than we do? Interesting point. Maybe fear is just fear, no matter who or what you are. Like this tree, for instance. Does it fear the winter, the loss of its leaves? Maybe. Or maybe it embraces it, knowing spring will come again. It's all about change, isn't it? Like we're always evolving. True. And it's not just nature. People change too, in so many ways. Exactly. Sometimes it's subtle, Sometimes, not so much. Like those Brazilian butt lifts we keep hearing about. BBLs, huh? Now that's a change you can see. I was thinking, it's a bit like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. But you know, for butts. That's one way to put it. A metamorphosis of the derriere. Imagine the journey though, from flat to fat. Do you think they ever fear sitting down after the procedure? Like if it will break or not? That's one fear I hadn't considered. There must be a whole new world of worries with a new behind. To sit or not to sit? That's the question. Imagine the conversations. How's your new butt doing? Oh, just keeping it off chairs for now. It's like chairs are kryptonite for these new behinds, making each sit down a high stakes gamble. And the identity shift. Is it like waking up as a completely different person? Maybe it's like wearing a new pair of shoes. Takes a bit to break in. Or like getting some new dentures, but for your butt. Have you ever thought about what other wild transformations people go through? Seems like there's no end to how far folks will go to reinvent themselves. Makes you wonder what's next. Maybe one day, we'll be swapping out whole body parts like they're car parts. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. You know, as I heard about these nanobots that they're cooking up. Tiny little things that you can buy in packs at the store. Nanobots? Like in a pack? What do they do? Depends on the pack that you pick up. Some might give you night vision. Others can make you run faster or even think sharper. That's wild. Imagine just popping into a store for a pack of super brain nanos or eagle eye enhancers. I bet my bottom dollar stores would have catchy names. Nanomart or Bots R Us. Nano Emporium, the Bot Boutique. Just stroll in, pick your pack, and poof, you're a new person. It's like a sci-fi movie come to life, but where do you draw the line? What's human and what's not? Now that's the $1 million question. How much can you change before you are not you anymore? How do you know you're not you anyway? I mean, if you change bit by bit, at what point do you stop being the original you? Good question. Kind of like that old ship, you know? Replace a plank here, a sail there, and eventually, is it the same ship? Exactly. With all these changes, nanobots, BBLs, it's like we're constantly upgrading our hardware. Are we still the same model after all those upgrades? You're onto something, Jimmy. It's like we're all leaving smartphones, slapping on new cases, upgrading our features, but beneath all those fancy add-ons, are we still the same old phone underneath? Yeah, if you change the ingredients too much, you might have a whole new dish. Makes you wonder, don't it? In this world of new behinds and nanobots, maybe the real trick is keeping the essence of your recipe the same. I like that, Purdy. It's a challenge to stay true to what makes you, well, you. Makes me wonder what my essential ingredients are. Probably a generous helping of wisecracks, mixed with a pint of good old country wisdom. I was hoping you started with a giant rubber duck, but that'll do. Any thoughts on the future of self-driving cars? Oh, you mean those fancy ones that could be more like lounges on wheels? Heard they might come with beds or movie theater seats, or maybe even a jacuzzi. A jacuzzi on the road? Now that's leaving large. But how's that going to work with everyone getting these new fancy behinds? You think BBLs will have a problem with jacuzzis? I just mean, with all these deluxe high-end heinies, fitting in might be a squeeze. That's where the magic of design comes in. These jacuzzis aren't just your grandma's tub, they're built for inclusive relaxation. I guess you're right. Otherwise, they might need doors as wide as a barn. A car with barn doors? That's good. Does it come with cows too? I hope not. The smell would ruin my jacuzzi nap. I hope not snakes either. Imagine, you're lounging in your car jacuzzi, and suddenly, a wild snake joins the party. A snake in a jacuzzi? Nothing like a little slithering surprise to spice up your nap time. I know. One minute you're enjoying the massage jets with your eyes closed, and the next, tackling a massive, unexpected challenge. Talk about a wake-up call. It's like the car was built with a surprise mode. Self-driving cars should also come with random theme days too. Like one day it's disco, complete with a glitter ball and funk music. I'd pay extra for that. But what if you get stuck in traffic on opera day? Well, that's when you discover your inner glass-breaking voice. Or imagine if the car could mimic animal sounds. You're driving, and suddenly it starts mooing. Mooing cars? That would confuse every cow in the country. And for the holidays, cars that decorate themselves. Imagine driving a car with its own Christmas lights. Would beat the heck out of putting up house lights. But what if the car starts snowing confetti on New Year's? Hey, as long as it doesn't start snowing in the jacuzzi, we're good. That's right, cause then we'd be having trouble with our balls again, like in Buffalo. At least we don't have that problem in Florida. Everything's heated down here. Wouldn't it be something if the car could sense your fear and switch to soothing mode? Like calming lights and soft music. That'd be something. Car, I'm scared. Boom, instant zen. With our luck, it'd probably start playing snake jazz. Snake jazz in a self-driving jacuzzi car? Now that's a future I can get behind. And as long as the car knows not to play snake jazz when there are actual snakes around. Wouldn't want to give them any ideas about joining the jacuzzi party. Picture this, Purdy. Self-driving cars that are less like cars and more like roving amusement parks. Picture bumper cars on the freeway. Safe, but hilarious. I'd love to see my neighbor's face in the morning traffic with that. And imagine if these cars come with voice-activated snack dispensers. You say, honey, I'm starving. And bam, a pretzel pops out. With mustard. As long as it's not dispensing broccoli with custard. That'd be a deal breaker. No, just the good stuff. And for long trips, how about an automatic storyteller? It could tell jokes or spooky stories. Ghost stories in a self-driving car? Only if it can also dispense bravery. Ha! And what if the car could change colors based on your mood? That'd be something. My car would be a rainbow with my mood swings. And on birthdays, it could fill up with balloons, but not too many. We still gotta see the road. That's right. Safety first, then balloons and pretzels. Be neat too if the GPS spoke in voices from other time periods. I can hear it now. Hath the dragon from the Middle Ages takes a left, and in the valley of the shadow of death from the Bible, ye shall turn right to avoid dimes. Now imagine a retro setting in these cars. Flip a switch and bam, you're cruising in a 1950s diner setting, jukebox tunes and all. I'd go for the roaring 20s. Jazz playing, speakeasies on every corner, and flappers dancing in the aisles. And for the horn, why stick to the boring old beep? What if it made food noises? Press it when you're hungry, and it sounds like a sizzling steak. Or craving dessert. Your honk is the chime of an ice cream truck. That would make traffic jams so much tastier. You're getting the hang of this, Purdy. I just know life's too short for boring cars and straightforward GPSs. It's funny how we came up with so many ideas for self-driving cars. I bet Elon will be jealous. Life's a wild ride, isn't it? One day, you're avoiding snakes in cold weather. The next, you're considering a BBL. Makes you wonder what we will come up with next. Maybe an autopilot mode for pets? Imagine your snake cruising around the neighborhood on its own. That would spice up the daily commute for sure. Seeing someone's snake poke out the window. Yeah, and not just snakes. Picture cats, dogs, and birds behind the wheel twos. The streets would turn into a mobile zoo. Each car would need to have a special pet mode on the dashboard, with settings customized for different animals. And each setting could adjust the car's interior to suit the pet's needs. Like a mini jungle for a parrot, or a sunlit spot for a cat to nap. Plus, there could be safety features tailored for them, like a snake-friendly seatbelt, or a bird perch instead of a passenger seat. And instead of the usual dial and screens, there could be interactive games, or activities to keep the pets engaged, like a catch game for dogs, or a swimming challenge for gators. This could revolutionize pet care. Long gone would be the days of worrying about leaving your pet all home alone. It's funny when you think about it. We started with self-driving cars for people, and now we're imagining them for our pets. We should do the same thing about BBLs too. That's a wild thought. Can you imagine? A poodle with an extra poofy tail, or a goldfish with brighter scales, all thanks to some fancy animal cosmetic procedures? And what about birds? Parrots with even more vibrant feathers? Or pigeons with a bit more flair? The skies would be a fashion show. It's a bit out there, but in a world where pets can drive, who knows? True. It seems like once you open the door to your imagination, the possibilities are endless. What do you say about that game? Are we still going to catch it? Sure, as long as it's on the sofa, it'll be a game to remember, with or without a BBL. I know, who needs a BBL when you got your snake and a good friend? And if the TV breaks, we can play our own game. My snake can be the referee, and we'll make our own halftime show. And if your snake's refereeing, mine will do the commentary. Perfect. Sounds like we're all set for the most unconventional, slithering sports night in history. If only we had one of those jacuzzi cars, or a jacuzzi sofa, That would take our snake game to a whole new level. Just us lounging while our snakes do their things. Beats freezing our balls off. Who needs cold bleachers when you can have a warm, bubbly sofa? And just wait until our wives see it. They'll either love it or insist on a ladies' night version. But they don't have their own snakes. Well then, looks like we'll have to lend them ours. It'll be a snake sharing program. His and hers. Oh man, his and hers. That's genius. Do you think we can pull it off? With our wit and charm? There's no doubt we can turn this into a slithery situation. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow me and subscribe. I like it when people touch the like button. I'm Purdy Brock Jenkins. Who am I again? Purdy Brock Jenkins. And don't you ever forget it. Or I'll remind you.